Hey everyone, Gabriel here. Just wanted to give you a quick heads up that this episode is not safe for work. So if you've got little ears around or you're out in public where you'd rather not have everyone listening alongside you, I'd wait until you have headphones on, you're in the car, etc. Hope you enjoy the episode. Welcome to another episode of the WX Drama Report. That has been successfully tanked by Alferia. So, our favorite continent, already off to rare form. Appreciate it, buddy.
Love me too.
Really excited to be back in doing these episodes. They took a very long hiatus. I won't get into all the nuts and bolts of it. I've talked about it before. I got super busy with work and Chaser Chat kind of had to take a back seat. So this actually represents a real turning point in the Chaser Chat brand as far as I'm concerned, because these things are back and I have every confidence in the world that they are going to be better than ever, because we have a wonderful ensemble of characters, and I do mean characters, to bring you the hot takes this evening, or I guess day, if that's when you happen to be listening to the show. Of course, myself, no shortage of opinions, but then we also have Uncle Shane Adams, everybody's favorite WX curmudgeon. How you doing tonight, man?
I am good. Nice introduction. I appreciate that.
I'm just assuming you're everybody's favorite WX curmudgeon, but
no, it's great to be here. It's going to be fun to drink alcohol and talk shit.
Of course, Algeria, who needs no introduction. I was going to introduce you in just. What do you mean you feel left out? Do you not know?
No, everybody else is drinking right now.
You can sneak off. You can sneak off later.
Oh, don't tempt me, dude.
So, Algeria, how are you doing, my friend?
I am not dead. I swear to God, I'm actually trying to work on videos. Please stop harassing me. Thanks.
By the way, you threatened to drink some alcohol earlier, and I'm like 94% confident that's actually illegal. You say you're 21, but I don't believe that.
I am.
He's as good live as he is on record.
I thought you had to be 21. Yeah, I guess that's true. You do have to be like 21 to buy those big boobied anime plushies that you have, right?
No.
Really?
Wait, do you actually?
Something like that. Oh my, yeah. Don't follow Alferia's Twitter feed if you don't know. Anyways.
No, I meant, do you actually have to be 21 for that? I thought that was just an 18 and up thing.
That was
no, of course.
18.
The pillows.
And the pillows, like, all that's required is if you're doing it online is, oh, do you have an address? If yes, you can buy it.
And of course, last but certainly not least, we've got Kay. Kay, how are you doing here today?
I'm here.
Awesome. That fills my heart with joy. I'm glad you're not somewhere else.
Oh, thanks. That makes me feel good.
All right. Enough with the introductions. And by the way, Rosie Vortex is going to be joining us at some point because we have a topic that is specifically related to her that she has to be on the show to give her opinion on. So we're going to make sure that she joins at some point. But she's not here for the introduction because I don't know what she was doing. Eastern Ohio people, they live in the mountains. Who knows what the fuck she's up to?
Ordering pizza.
Chasing Bigfoot. Oh, wait, that's me.
The ordering pizza joke, by the way, nice little callback, because when we first started recording, I was asking where she was and I called her and then pretended I was ordering a pizza. And she actually thought that I was calling the wrong number trying to order a pizza.
That was a great introduction to the show. That should have been the show.
It should have. I wish I had already pressed recording. Absolutely.
Well, I have NVIDIA Instant Replay, so I could send that clip to you.
Wait, are you recording me, Alferia? Don't you have to give the line?
No, it's NVIDIA Instant Replay essentially what it does is that it has like a cache of 5 minutes of like continuous recording, and you can press a key bind and it saves the past 5 minutes of everything that's happened on your computer.
Must have the
express
video.
Written consent of Chaser Chat Inc.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I feel like we have a legal case pending now.
I
did not authorize
Alferia.
this.
I'm an owner of Chaser Chat. You have permission.
And that's that.
All right, let's go ahead and jump right into the topic. The first one, this is an oldie but a goodie. If we had been doing these monthly like we're going to be doing them now, or at least we're going to try to do them monthly. I can't always promise with my schedule, but let's say between you and I, the listener at home, I'm at least going to try for one every 2 months. I'm going to really try hard to do one every month, but no longer than 2 months, because there's some WX drama that gets a little out of hand. We got to give some opinions on it. The first thing is Reed Timmer accidentally, and here's the thing I want to get into. I'm not sure if it was accidentally posting a picture of himself enjoying, let's say, a different type of mamatus, and it absolutely set WX Twitter ablaze. I've got some thoughts on it, but I'm going to just throw it out there. I'm going to leave it on the floor. Whoever wants to pick it up and start running with it, go right ahead.
All right. So
Please go ahead.
I am the exact person who should comment on this, obviously. As whether Twitter's weeb trademark Patent pending. I was actually in Talladega with a friend of mine when that dropped, and then someone showed it to me, and I said, "Ha, that's funny." And then I went about my day. Shocker, I know.
That is the
Guys,
most anticlimactic take I've ever heard.
It really is, actually.
it's just the outrage from it just feels so manufactured of, oh, think of the children. I'm like, huh? Think
Do
of
me-
the children. Sure, that's where you're going with this? Because you have to be 13 and up in order to be on any social media website. Technically, it doesn't stop people, but it's just a general rule of thumb.
Just to point this out real quick, how old is Reed again?
Old.
It doesn't matter. He's a fucking adult. If he wants to go and enjoy some Amatis, go ahead, as long as it's obviously consensual.
And you don't have a guy game incident where your game gets taken off the shelves.
Now, Shane, as a person who, if I could call back to your interview on Chaser Chat from a couple of years ago, I know that you are a Mamatis purveyor of sorts. So what were your thoughts when this dropped? I know you have to have at least something of an opinion.
Yeah, I did a 10-minute off the cuff diatribe about this to myself in the shower when I was preparing for DCS episode 2, back when I was going to include a bit on this, and I just scrapped it. But you got all these little dweebies that I have taken so much shit over the years because I give them so much shit, and they deserve it. They deserve far more than I'll ever be able to give them in my lifetime. And you can print that. But what I took away from it was you have this picture of Reed Timmer next to an attractive lady with large breasts, and all they took from it was, what's wrong with Reed? What's Reed doing? Why did Reed post this? Is Reed in trouble? I thought that maybe it was like one of those situations where he was having like some serious mental issues, and I was going, oh my God, what's going on? And then I saw that picture. I'm like, really? That's it? You dry-dicked, prepubescent little bastards who couldn't find your way around a vagina with a schematic. Just stop. Just fucking stop, man. I get it if you're like 13, 14, 15, but if you're 16, 17, 18, and you're still in that, go figure out what women are. Seriously, get out of the house, touch some grass, touch some fucking ass,
touch some grass that hasn't been ground scoured.
Yeah,
that's
basic. Yeah, that's basically it, man. I could do this for 15 minutes, but we're under a time restraint. So yeah, just, man, come on.
By the way, what was very interesting to me about what you just said is I did not know people were like, is Reed okay? Is Reed in trouble? I want to be in trouble too if that's the case. I'd have no problem with that.
Exactly. Uncle Shane needs a little bit of trouble.
But yeah, that's the kind of trouble I'm looking for.
I genuinely saw that because I went onto Twitter after the tweet was deleted, right? And I was like, oh shit, what did Reed do? I'm over here actually concerned about something serious happening. Come to find out, no, he just, I don't even know. Did he have a one-night stand? If he did, who cares? But that's not the point. The point is, y'all reacted like he had, y'all.
Exactly.
Again, I was gonna say, are you turning into Ryan Hall over here? What's going on?
He's an adult. What? Why is this such a big deal?
They all think the stork brought them.
Oh, well, did they not? Oh, shit.
What I really hope this is, I hope it's pointing towards a broader shift in the storm chaser celebrity, we'll call it ghosphere or whatnot, where if you're a rock star, this is just what you expect after the concert, right? This is like the spoils of victory after you've been rocking out on stage. I'm hoping this is just like what happens. You catch a tornado, you know, this is what you get to go hang out and do after the after party. It sounds a lot better than Applebee's as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, their menu is very limited.
We need to get Storm Chaser groupies. Just follow along with the
room
caravan.
or me. Oh, you know what? Situational answer, but I'd have to see what the actual situation is.
As a sidebar, I did just go onto the Chaser Chat Discord page and look the picture up again because it's still there. From the perspective of a woman, that's got to be uncomfortable how big her boobs are.
Yeah, she's probably what, 27. She gets in her 40s. There's gonna be some back problems.
Yeah,
Shane has it pinpointed. Like, I saw this video on an Instagram reel of this kid who, you know, like how they'll have those like really impressive videos of somebody who's like speed running a video game or something. He was like speed running, naming different porn stars with nothing but like their face picture would pop up and he'd say it. And it just struck me as like, this kid has a superpower. And now it's Shane is just, he just looks at him, doesn't even need to see her face, just looks at like the shape and the composition of the Mamatis. And he's just like 27 right there.
But what you just said, I really admire that kid who did the porn name run because he cared enough to learn their names. I think that's progress.
That's
Jesus.
polite.
To quote Sinran Kagura's creator, tits are life, ass is hometown. If you're an adult, do whatever you want. I don't care.
Which
Wait, did you
brings
just-
me to
just quote anime?
Alferia's exact quote in the Chaser Chat Discord. Reed is a fucking adult. People need to grow up. Titties are titties. And yes, they are indeed titties.
We'll
I
leave
just
it
am
there.
worried
That's a
about the woman's
perfect
poor
way.
back at this point, because she's gonna get to her 40s, like Shane said, and she's gonna have a lot of problems.
She'll probably get a reduction though. I think that's going the other way has become more popular in recent years than the enhancement. I know you're not a fan of that.
I was gonna say, well, no, just don't put that out there, man. Like, you've heard of that whole, like, you can manifest certain things just by putting the, like, idea out there into the ether. Like, it might be true, but we don't have to encourage it.
Do you know how many health problems? Nah, I'm gonna get real here. Do you know how many health problems having big boobs actually can cause?
Oh yeah, I don't know personally, but I've heard of
the answer is a lot.
Yeah, but you know
I was gonna make a joke.
Their health problems are a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Well,
okay,
you could use helium. Person. You could use helium to lighten the load and get the enhancement visually, but then you've got the flammable situation, so that could end badly.
I could hear it now. I was going to say the Hindenburg part too.
I'm out. I'm stopping. Good night.
All right, we got to move on to the next one. Okay, so
the
next one, and this is one I already know that I'm going to be breaking rank on, so I fully look forward to all of you absolutely letting me have it. So I'll just go first. It's the Laura Loomer / Team Dominator situation. For those of you who aren't aware of what happened in the wake of Hurricane Helene's devastation, there were a lot of people who were obviously traveling to the area in Western North Carolina that had been hit the hardest, and they were doing their part to raise awareness for charity, for supplies that needed to be sent out. And Chris Hall and Reed Timmer, of course, I don't know if Reed was on the ground there. I know Chris Hall was on the ground, and he's part of Team Dominator, and so Reed, by extension, who's also part of Team Dominator, was going to take part in an interview with a very controversial, and by the way, the term far right, far left, that stuff is thrown around all the time nowadays, but as someone who's followed politics very closely for the better part of a decade now, I can confidently say Laura Loomer is absolutely far right, says a lot of super, super stupid things, and nobody is wrong in pointing that out. But Chris and Reed were going to go on her show, and they were going to talk about what had been happening in Western North Carolina. They were going to talk about how people could donate or provide other types of relief if they were so inclined. And they absolutely got just berated by social media, people telling them that it was wrong for them to associate their brand with people like that it was going to tarnish the entire Team Dominator name. And eventually they ended up getting so much backlash that and this was like the part that annoyed me the most. They ended up backing out due to a scheduling conflict, which everybody knows. That's like when you hear a politician who's stepping down to spend more time with his family. Like, we all fucking know what that means. It has nothing to do with their family. And so they decided not to go on Laura Loomer's show anymore. Obviously, it's a free country. They can do that if they want. But I just thought the way the it was gross, the way people piled on. If it was normal times and Laura Loomer just wanted to have them on to talk about like Team Dominator and what it was they do out there when they're chasing storms and everything, like, I could see at least a case being made for why you would say something like that. But in a time of crisis, when somebody is specifically trying to relay a message about how to help those who have been affected by a disaster, I just feel like it's really gross to try and curtail those efforts in any way, shape, or form. After the dust has settled, after the people have been relocated, after the towns have been rebuilt, after everybody makes sure people are safe and have something to eat and a place to stay, that's when you can like retroactively go back and sort out the wheat from the chaff. But I just really thought that was a really poor look for the WX community on a national stage, by the way, because Laura Loomer, love her or hate her, she's bigger than any fucking person in the WX community. And that includes people like Jim Cantori and Reed Timmer, just based on the audience and the following that she has and the people that she actually rubs shoulders with. I think until a month or two ago, until she got accused of sucking Donald Trump's cock and quietly pushed off the campaign trail, I think she was like actually like rubbing shoulders with him on a daily basis. By the way, that's all circumstance and hearsay, but like
that
the circles that I roll with, politically speaking, like I heard that. So anyways, that was a super long diatribe. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm going to cede the floor to all you guys. Go right ahead.
So as someone who is, and this is going to delve into politics a bit, someone who's center left on a lot of things. The big issue that I had was, and this is the concern that I think a lot of weather Twitter had concern with, is that Laura Loomer said that it wasn't going to involve politics, but it's Laura fucking Loomer. She was probably not going to keep her word on it. And my reason for believing that is just look at her track record, at what she has said. She is completely unhinged and is so unhinged that Marjorie Taylor Greene called her out.
You have
Do you
to
know how-
really have fucked up to get
Do you know
Marjorie
how-
Taylor Greene to
Do
say
you know
you're
how-
a fucking idiot.
Pot, meat, kettle.
And following Helene, this wasn't like a couple months after Helene. This was relatively recent after. The genuine concern was that Laura Loomer was going to twist it into the feds aren't going to do anything about this. Vote Trump 2024 because he will fix all of this. That was the genuine concern from my point of view. And with all of that misinformation that was happening around that time, which we also know was now coming from Russia, did they need to give that side more ammo to deal with in that respect? I understand the perspective of, maybe they could have changed some people's minds, but do you understand how much of an echo chamber you have to be in to unironically listen to Laura Loomer?
Yeah, by the way, real quick, since you are responding to what I was saying, just let me pipe it in real quick and say that I agree with 90% of what you said there. So we're not even in disagreement about the larger overall points. I just think that in that specific position that you're in with that specific opportunity, if something political does come up, then that's when it's incumbent on Chris and Reed to steer the conversation back towards, let's just talk about relief efforts. Let's talk about what people can do. There's a lot of hearsay. There's a lot of mis and disinformation that's happening because it's a chaotic environment. But you can deal with that like as it's happening, or even post hoc. Like to completely say no thanks and not even allow the opportunity to reach a few million people to happen, I feel like that's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
The other thing that really put me off was how she ended up responding to it. And that was what really soured my view that she went in with good intentions, because the way that she treated it was, I had billionaires looking at my stream who would have donated if they listened. I'm like, yeah, and you're telling me by that admission that they weren't going to donate anyways, so what's the point?
Yeah, so so starting from the beginning, here was the thing. And this is coming from somebody who is pretty staunchly centrist. Like, I hate both fucking sides. I hate them with a passion. They need to just stop talking. My issue with it was that Laura Loomer, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and everybody on that side of the political spectrum were very big proponents for Hurricane Helene was manufactured. So that was strike one on my issue with the whole.
It was.
Yeah, whatever you should know. I'm just not even going to engage that
That's
one.
a strike that takes all three strikes. You don't need another strike after that. That pretty much covers it.
Yeah, pretty
Jesus
much. Yeah,
Christ.
and
I'm sorry, Kay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
we have Reed Timmer, who is a doctorate in meteorology, who genuinely wanted to be there to help people, and then Chris, who has a wide reach of his own to be able to help people afterwards. And I have zero faith in Laura Loomer and her political stance that she would not have twisted it to try to convince them to say something that sounded like they agreed with the fact that Helene and Milton were manufactured, and that's just factually incorrect. We know that already. So there's that. My biggest issue aside from that is, like, not everybody pays attention to politics. I pay attention enough to know what's going on, but politics pisses me off so much that I just don't engage unless I absolutely have to, and I genuinely think that there's a civil rights issue that I need to be involved and engaged in. And Reed strikes me as somebody who's the same person. He flat out came out afterwards and said that he doesn't pay attention to politics because he's too busy paying attention to weather. And I didn't know who Laura Loomer was until that came up.
Neither did I.
It's one of those things where it's like you can't really blame people for not paying attention, and then you educate them afterwards and, hey, maybe this isn't the person that you should be talking to. That's great. Like I said, my biggest issue is just the way that she goes about things. And also, she's a fucking idiot. Like I said, you have to really royally have messed yourself up to have Marjorie Taylor Greene and the Trump administration say that you're an idiot. Am I wrong? Hello?
No, I'm just
No.
I'm just sitting. I'm laughing and nodding.
But all that being said, I do to a degree agree with you, Gabe, that they should have just done it to try to get the word out. But at the same time, like Alferia said. If they didn't do it, and that's what made the billionaires decide not to donate, then they were never going to donate in the first place. And 99% of billionaires are selfish assholes anyway. So
Yeah, donations are tax write-offs. There's always a benefit. It's never helping. It's helping them. That's just a fact. That sounds like poor guy sour grapes, but that's corporations and all these commercials, McDonald's and all this other. They do shit because it helps them. They don't do it because they give a shit. That's just the way the world works.
Since all of you have given a little bit of inkling to your political affiliation, I'll just say that I know for a fact that just from some of the conversations in the Chaser chat Discord as well, I know for a fact I'm farther right than all of you. And even that being like War Loomer to me, I agree with the assessment that like just incomprehensibly stupid thing after incomprehensibly stupid thing. In fact, like not
IQ
only
the size of a
incomprehensibly
gerbils.
not even incomprehensibly stupid things, like actually things that turn out to be like factually incorrect. Either she had bad information from sources she continues going back to over and over again, or she was outright lying for clout, which we know both of those things happen quite regularly on social media. So even with myself being farther right than everybody here, I agree with that. But I'll say this in balance. If Adolf Hitler himself had a podcast, I would go on it and talk about how to help Hurricane Helene disaster efforts. And then I would worry about whatever fallout came from that after the fact, correcting the record, making a statement, or if he said some stupid stuff like it was the Jews that caused Hurricane Helene to hit Western North Carolina, I would obviously push back during the podcast.
But then you have to trust that they're not going to edit that portion out. If you're going to go and you're going to do something like that, let's say that you are going on Adolf Hitler's podcast. I don't know why you would. He sounds like an asshole. You have to trust that their editor is not going to twist your words and make it sound like you're agreeing with them. And you have to have something going into there that says, I am also allowed to record what I'm doing, because you have to be able to fact check the things that they're going to pull with that, because anymore now, every side is going to twist things to their narrative to make it work for them. The only thing, it's like my parents said, right? There's the truth, and that lies between your story, my story, and what really happened.
Does anybody here think whether Twitter would forsake Reed for more than 24 hours, no matter what he did? No.
No, obviously
that
not.
Was just a bunch of hoo-ha. Come on, you guys don't even know what women are yet. So yeah, Reed is your women. So you're not going to forsake the only woman you've ever had.
Good old Teed Rimmer. Sidebar, did you guys hear that he's not allowed to rent for a car from, I think it's Enterprise now?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I couldn't because I didn't have a good enough credit rating. I bring those motherfuckers back cleaner than they were when I got the sons of bitches. But whatever, that's another episode.
This is a separate thing, Gabe. Does this technically make the second time on Drama Report where Adolf Hitler is commented the conversation?
God wins law, my friend, every time.
Isn't oh gosh, I forget like the rule, but the first person to bring up fascism or Nazis loses the conversation?
I don't know.
I have heard of something similar that I know Godwin's law, which is if given enough time and conversation, every single topic will eventually go back to Hitler and the Nazis somehow.
Yeah, maybe that's the one that I'm thinking.
But
of.
only since the 40s. Before then, it was like Attila the Hun or something.
No, I was going to say, except for time travelers, right? They always had. Anyways, that was a dumb joke.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing I want to say about
a lot of miles.
Last thing I want to say about this, Kay, is you are absolutely 100% right. And actually, I'm not in the business of being particularly helpful to people on the Drama Report, but I will say that recording locally is something you should be doing if you are in any sort of media at all, whether it's a podcast, whether it's video. Anytime you don't control the editing and the post-production yourself, always record locally and
in your pocket.
Make sure that you have a copy, because you, especially at this day and age where it's so easy to create deep fakes, whether it's with voice and video, pictures or whatever, you need to make sure you have some hard copy of whatever you said or did, so that way you can defend yourself, because it's getting crazy out there.
I just think going old school, just remember names and faces and where they live.
The thing that people need to realize, especially for something like how big Reed is, how big Chris is, and how big Laura Loomer especially, is that if you're going to agree to go on any kind of podcast, TV show, movie, it doesn't really matter what form of entertainment it is, have it in writing that you are allowed to also keep records of what all was said and record locally, because not everybody is legally allowed to record conversations right now. It depends on what state you're in. It also depends on what corporation you're working for. You need to have it in writing that you're allowed to do that. And it's entirely to protect yourself.
Very good advice. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Chasers being threatened with arrest during Hurricane Helene. And The reason this was really interesting to me, and Shane, I have a feeling you're going to have a lot to say on this, so I'm actually going to throw it to you once I'm done sort of bringing the topic in. I feel like this is one of those topics where chasers really start to suffer from a bit of self-aggrandizement,
Oh,
where they're out chasing and they're hashtag saving lives.
oh yeah,
And
because people
like
not
you
affected
have
need to know.
and you are just doing God's work out there. And how dare these small towns that are about to get absolutely fucking walloped have police officers who don't know who the fuck you are. They don't know you're a storm chaser with 50,000 followers. They don't know you're any different from Uncle Cletus who's driving the wrong way because he doesn't have a compass to tell him which way to go. Like, and so when they shut down these roads as a public service and they're trying to funnel people out of the town so they don't die when the storm surge comes in, just the absolute, like, the hubris to, I get it if in the moment you want to go to the police officer and you're trying to say, hey, unfortunately we're not allowed to, or sorry, the police officers, unfortunately we're not allowed to let you pass, and you're like, hey, I'm media, I'm a storm chaser, I'm trained, could you please let me go, or whatever, could you maybe give me a different route that I could go or some other place that I could go, or whatever, like
Trained.
talking to them. I get that, but then to, like, your first instinct being to go on social media and try to, like, I felt like, at least, so maybe this isn't true, maybe this is me reading the situation wrong, to try to make yourself seem like you were being martyred in a certain sense, or you were being persecuted by not being allowed to go to these areas where every town is every local town is different. They're going to have different evacuation procedures. They're going to have law enforcement that deals with these things differently. And at the root of it all is them trying to minimize the loss of life to people that are about to experience the worst day of their life. And for you to just make it about yourself, I felt like it was in very poor taste.
I have
Yeah.
thoughts too, but I'll let
I
Shane go
have
first.
many thoughts on
Well,
this
first of
topic as
all,
a whole.
Gabe covered it pretty well. At the end of the day, there is no difference between a storm chaser with 50,000 followers and Cletus, the local, because are you going to drown better than Cletus? Are you going to be hit by flying debris and lacerated to death on your own stupid live stream better than Cletus? No.
Love
Does
that we
anyone? Yeah, I like that. I loved Dukes of Hazzard when I was a kid. Before I knew, I didn't understand. We all got better. But anyway, the thing about the hurricane thing is there's two things. Number one, like you said, they're trying to evacuate people, and the people that are smart enough to listen to evacuation orders and obey them are gone. They're safe.
Right.
They don't need live coverage. The people that choose to stay, who are in danger, chose to stay. They're fucking idiots. Fuck them. That's called Darwinism. They don't need to fucking see live coverage. Who needs to see the live coverage? The answer is, hey, baby, pull back the curtain. What's behind door number one? Oh, yeah, money, followers, subscribers, live stream audiences.
I'm going to
I
push
don't
back
care.
on one thing that you just said, and that is that not everybody has the ability to evacuate or will
Yeah,
evacuate because of employment. My sister-in-law actually didn't evacuate from Milton, even though her and her husband were in the evacuation zone for Milton because she was a first responder.
But they
Yeah,
didn't
but-
say,
but
but
they-
they didn't do it because they're stupid. They couldn't.
Or
But-
you're
and
in
also,
Lee
they
County,
didn't
Florida
need-
during Ian, and you decide to not issue your evacuation order until 24 hours before landfall, and your response is to why is,
Okay,
Well,
let
and
me
just-
back up. Everyone who irresponsibly stayed, that covers everybody. If you can't
And
leave
Shane,
because
let me interject one thing real quick just to bridge the gap between you and Kay. I think that the main thing there, Kay, is that those people still don't need live coverage. There's nothing that is going to be covered live by a storm chaser that's going to help your family members who decided to stay. It's not like a tornado where it's like, hey, this storm is 50 miles southwest of your town. It's heading to the northeast in your direction. Please take cover immediately. There's a hurricane coming. You know what a hurricane does. You don't need to be told to go into your basement or into a room with interior walls or anything. The
See,
live
that I
coverage doesn't
100%
help at
don't.
all.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I don't disagree with. There's a reason why I don't really care that much for hurricane chasing. I think it's a lot of clout unless you are out there chasing the tornadoes that come with it, because those are quite sudden spin-ups and can cause a lot of issues. For example, the tornado outbreak that was historic in Florida before Milton. But yeah, I have family in Florida, and I also am well aware that not everybody can afford to or is able to evacuate. They might be able to afford it, but they might be disabled and can't get where they need to go, things like that. So anyway, continue, Shane.
Okay,
Yep.
let me take a deep breath and all right, you got me. You got me. I was I broad brushed that. Okay.
Yeah, put
Let
some
me-
ass
let-
into it this
All
time.
right, all right. If you're disabled, if you can't physically or financially afford it, or if you're not getting any information, okay, you're over here in the safe zone. Everyone else, fuck you. Now let me continue. And I'm fine. If you're a chaser and you go down there and that's your lifeblood and that's your fucking shit, I'm no longer a chaser. So this is really fucking weird to me looking from the outside in, but I get it. If you can pull it off and do it and make your life and your livelihood from it, do it. But when things go, let me throw back to what Gabe was talking about, the rock star thing and the big titties. If you're a rock star, you don't only get fame and glory, you get negativity. There are going to be people that hate you as much as people that love you. So when it goes badly and the local sheriff doesn't want to take pictures and snuggle up to you and say what greatness you are and how you brought all this great shit to their community, when they want to kick you in your ass and put cuffs on you and throw you under the jail, fucking deal with it. But you don't deal with it. You do the same thing you always do. What can I do this better for me and my fucking followers? Oh, let's go to social media and let's spread it all over the world. And like you said, also, let's make me into a martyr. You're not a martyr. You're a storm chaser. Believe me, I was one for 28 years. And guess what? It didn't matter ever. In 28 years, nothing about being a storm chaser made me more important than any other human being for one fraction of a second in my existence. And that goes for all of you assholes. So
Shane says, back in my day. Hey everyone, Kay here from Rough Skies Ahead and Chaser Chat. I wanted to give a quick shout out to the new Chaser Chat YouTube page, where you can find all your favorite episodes uploaded in video form with a transcription to follow along with. The link is in the podcast description.
You're probably wearing clothes right now, and I know you like listening to podcasts. Why not combine the two and support the show? Head over to chaserchat.com or click the link in the podcast description, and you'll find all sorts of items like t-shirts, hoodies, beanies, ball caps, coffee mugs, and more. And if none of that sounds good, at least buy a freaking sticker. It's only $3. Visit the merch store today and support the podcast by going to chaserchat.com or clicking the link in the podcast description.
yeah, exactly. Back in my day, you know what? I got a cane in my car in case my back goes out. But anyway,
Yeah, I was gonna say, Shane, you were talking about how you can't get a rental car anymore when you're storm chasing, and I was just a little confused because I thought you were actually riding dinosaurs back when you chased.
you know that what's that little green bastard everyone takes a picture of?
Yoshi, what?
Yes, my God, come up with something new. That's a whole other
God
thing.
damn
Anyway,
it! God damn it, Algeria!
he knows. But just to close it out really quickly, it's look, do your thing. What this comes down to is storm chasers, like you. I'm just basically parroting off of Gabe. It's like they're rock stars, they're martyrs. They think that they're this, they think they're that, and 99% of the time it goes well for them. The 1% that it doesn't, take your fucking lumps, man. Roll with the punches. Show a little fucking class. This is like the political shit I talked about on the last DCS episode. You're not going to win every fucking game. Don't be a bad sport. Deal with it and go home.
Amen. I think it speaks, though, like just overall social media to a big, like wider problem that we've got in society nowadays, where everything has to be sensationalized because that's how you get noticed. And not everything is sensational. It's not. Me going and getting my fucking breakfast in the morning is not that big of a deal. It's pretty tasty, but I don't need to tweet that out to my 50 followers that I've got.
I understand. That's
like
exactly right. But you know what? There's somebody doing that. Somebody's doing that, and there's 300,000 people looking at her eating mangoes on a fucking patio at 5 in the morning. Oh,
yeah,
you chew so eloquently. Oh.
It's the victimhood mentality that comes with being on social media anymore now, and it's honestly just the inherent selfishness of people because of the internet. I am a boomer. I'm 27, but I am a boomer, and I think that the internet is one of the best and worst things that could have been created.
You're not
humanity.
a boomer. You're not a boomer. You're a Gen Xer. You dumb little Gen Z bastards are too fucking stupid. They're not boomers. Boomers are dead. They're Gen Xers, the forgotten generation. You dumb fucks.
I don't care what generation it is.
Not you. I'm not. That wasn't to you. That was to all the other assholes.
Oh, okay, cool.
I thought we were going to. I was going to say, I thought we were going to fight for a second.
Okay.
No, I love Cage.
I'd
awesome.
like to get my perspective in this.
Yep, go for it, Alferia.
All right,
not allowed.
There were a couple
time's
things.
Up. Sorry, we're going to move on now.
No, fuck you.
I'm going to get a drink.
Go for it, Algeria.
This is actually an issue that I've had with the chasing community for a little bit, right? The first thing to go over is the fact that in really bad situations, if you don't have media credentials, you could technically be arrested for suspected looting. There is a curfew. You are going in the middle of a storm. If you don't identify yourself, there is a chance that they have a reason to arrest you, and it is suspected looting. Now, will that hold up in court? Probably not, but it speaks to a larger issue at hand, because I remember this was something that my 8th grade social studies teacher told our class.
That's very specific.
During Oberto 94, when the National Guard was putting sandbags up on, I think it was the Okmulgee River, or the Flint River. essentially, if they didn't agree to do it, they would be arrested for suspected looting because they were going into a area that was heavily flooded.
I know that was a big problem actually with Hurricane Helene. I saw some reports from actual credible sources talking about how people were getting arrested for looting the towns that had been destroyed.
Yeah, I
So-
saw a lot of reports of people who basically were walking around and surveying their property and patrolling it with their guns because their looting was such a bad problem, especially in North Carolina.
Now, this brings me to another point, which is that some people are like, how are these other news meteorologists able to do it? I'm like, it's code. They have media credentials and a pass from the local PD.
Yeah,
You
there's
want to
a
know how I
whole-
know this? It's because they are the news media. They aren't as stupid as your local storm chaser with 300 subs on YouTube. I'm sorry.
There is a whole process that you have to go to as news media to be allowed into a disaster zone like that. And reiterating Shane's point, he's not even here to see that I agree with him, but I'm reiterating it anyway. Oh, hey, he's back. It's a hurricane. You're not going to be doing any good until after the storm system is passed. It's not like a tornado where you're obviously giving advanced warning times and then are there immediately afterwards. It takes days for a hurricane to pass through. So you can't even say that you're there to help with a disaster afterwards because you're there 4 days prior to the event even happening.
Now, back to what I was saying. I don't think that hurricane chasing entirely is pointless because I've seen this happen and there is valuable data to collect scientifically. There is. And if you're chasing with that in mind and you're like, hey, I'm doing this other thing for... I think there's more, from a scientific point of view, merit to that. And of course, if you're doing it to do money or whatever, fucking, I don't care, do whatever, I guess. You're not selling, I don't know, drugs. So I'd rather you do that and not sell drugs if it means anything. But no, it's this entire problem that really pissed me off during Otis last year. Because there was a few people who were like, God, I wish I was in Acapulco, Mexico right now. Fucking insensitive that sounds. To say that to people who lived in Acapulco, who had virtually no warning that essentially what was a out-of-nowhere Category 5 was about to hit their city.
It again speaks to the wider selfishness of people that we have on social media nowadays. It's all me. Everything's about me. And when it stops being about me, how fucking dare you?
Yep.
In general, it speaks to the problem of if you're Joe Schmo going in hurricane chasing, there's so much more that can go wrong with hurricane chasing. And if the police officers have to save your dumbass, then they aren't spending it saving the people who actually couldn't get out or decided to not stay out because they're dumbasses, like Shane said.
I gotta say that if I was in a hurricane path and the first responders and police had to go save a storm chaser and therefore couldn't save my family because the storm chaser was being a stupid moron chasing the hurricane and being unsafe doing so, I'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah, that's actually something I've talked about on a prior drama report. I believe it was a prior drama report episode. Storm chasers, to me, they remind me of the surfers who get bit by sharks and the rock climbers who fall off a cliff and need to be helicopter rescued. You do something extreme, I'm all for it. You take your life in your own hands. You want to do something extreme. I get it. That's what gets you high. That's what you live for. You found your passion. Cool. But I draw the line. People say, well, how are you going to ever draw a line in the sand? You know what? I have drawn an arbitrary line in the sand. It's basically if you do something for pleasure that potentially puts other people at risk when they have to come save you, or drains resources from other people who might need help, who didn't choose to put themselves in the path of harm for pleasure, then, at that point, I think you just get to bleed out. And I got a lot of shit for that. But you get in a vehicle and you roll your car chasing a tornado. Yeah, you maybe call some other chasers, crawl your way to the nearest gas station if you need to, but you don't
know how to chase, you'll never roll in a car. Anybody out there, I'm retired, but if you guys want to know how to safely chase a storm and not be hit by a tornado, I'm the only one left that hasn't been. I'll tell you for free because I'm not a fucking idiot. It's easy.
Shane, will you take me storm chasing?
You want to go with someone who's better than me. That's my honest answer. You want to take you to someone that'll actually get you a tornado. Uncle Shane sucks now.
Gabe, I guess you could say it's just a skill issue.
Oh my gosh.
Very nice.
A little foreshadowing. So I originally, when Chaser Chat relaunched, or whatever you want to call it, I had Alferia lined up to put an episode out once every 2 or 3 months. And we're going to call the series of episodes Skill Issue with Alferia.
Do it.
But apparently it's a skill issue because he hasn't uploaded yet.
He
He's
can't
been
even
very
do his
busy.
own damn videos.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
So,
To be
so
fair, we did
fingers-
record like an hour-long Twisters review, and then my electricity just poofed, and we lost the recording.
Oh no! Oh no! How did I never hear about this?
You
Oh,
should
you heard
reprise
about
that.
it. You just forgot it.
Okay,
You guys should
well,
do that again.
Anyways, not
Anyway.
to throw too much shade Alferia's way. He and I have been in contact this whole time, and as soon as his schedule clears up a bit, he's down to record some solo episodes, or if he wants to bring people on, he can record with people either way. And I think from what you and I had last talked about Alferia, you said maybe December, January, sometime around that time frame.
Yeah.
Alferia, we can record a podcast episode talking about anime.
There you go. Sonic and anime.
Yep.
They're not too far apart from an outsider looking in.
They're really not.
No, they're not.
Sonic is
Sonic
the
and
one
Shadow
that
Generation was a great game, by the way.
Sonic makes me think of my favorite chili cheeseburgers on earth, so that's why I have an affinity for it.
Sonic is the entire reason I'm getting married, so
cheesy tots are good like that.
My God, because they use American cheese the way you're supposed to, the way nature intended.
Yeah,
By the
yeah.
way,
I was gonna say, like
Alferia,
when you
know
try
that
to
that was not me being a dick. It was just me jibing at you.
when we don't apologize,
Villain
never
voice. Do that again.
I would never-
Hey, man, I'm just giving you some. I'm just fucking pulling your chain, man.
I
Like an
didn't think
awesome-
that was a villain voice. I thought that was like one of those like phone sex operator voices from back in the
Oh
80s.
God, no! For
Borderline.
that.
It was borderline sultry. I was
I
like,
feel
what
like
the
we have
hell's going on
successfully
here?
gone off the rails and mission accomplished. I love it.
Okay,
So you were saying,
Alferia.
Gabe?
Yes, last thing I wanted to mention, Alferia, I thought you made a great point about you and Kay both about the selfishness of storm chasers, and I just want to put a little extra emphasis on it to say, like, I'm a human being. I am selfish as well. So I don't think it's just a selfish issue, because I have, like, in my mind, I see a really cool tornado that did a ton of damage to a town, and I am thinking to myself, man, I wish I would have went out and chased the storm. I wish I was in fuck Kansas right now, because then I would have got to watch this tornado. But you don't tweet it. You don't say it. It's also an awareness issue. Just because you think it and you
Inner
actually might have
monologue.
wanted to be there. I have selfish thoughts all the time because I'm a human. We all do. You just
I'm
don't
going
have
to.
like- Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Kay.
Oh, I
I
can't
was
wait.
gonna say I'm gonna interrupt for 30 seconds to amend what I said. And it's not just selfishness of storm chasers. We just see it a lot because we're part of that community.
Right.
It's the selfishness of people on the internet in general. It is everything is about me because that's what social media has become.
And it's easy too.
That's
When
a
you're
side
typing
point.
something, you don't have to interface with somebody eye to eye, face to face. You don't have to actually say those words and then see their reactions. It's a lot easier to type things out. So that's, yeah, it ends up being a place where the worst impulses of humankind tend to flourish.
Oh yeah, that's why we tend to get really nasty trolls on the internet, is because we've been able to hide behind a keyboard for the last 15 years and not
Yeah.
get sucker punched in the nose.
Yeah, the
What is it
anonymity
that-
is like mosquitoes in water.
Gabe,
Yeah.
I
What
just
is
wanna
it that Mike
mention-
Tyson says? I love the quote where he says,
Mhm.
a lot of people have gotten way too comfortable with not getting punched in the face.
Yes.
Which is an extension of everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
It's both.
To tie this all together, I have a very simple way to put it this way. Be careful of how you express something, and some things should stay in your head. For example, if I see a big pair of anime mamatis, you don't see me tweeting out Ooga Booga 20 times over.
But if
know,
you
that stays
did,
in
I
my
would
head.
respect you.
Okay, sure.
I've seen
I
some
mean, true,
anime thirst
but-
tweets on your
Yeah,
Twitter
this was
account.
this. You had me. You had me.
Hey, I got
hanging
an old guy question. Does thirst mean horny?
Yes.
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 Oh, I thought that meant you just wanted it in general, like a Coke or an ice cream.
No, it is a code word
No,
for
no,
horny
no.
because
hell.
horny is too
We'll
obvious.
get ready for some thirsty tweets from Uncle Shane then. Now I know what that word means.
Do
I
it,
can't
Shane.
wait.
Do it.
I'm done.
Alferia, you had me with that whole point you were making until you used yourself as the example, because I'm fairly certain I've seen you tweet anime mamatis followed up by
I think
something
I have
akin
too.
to ooga booga wooga, ooga booga wooga, something like that.
I have personally seen this, and it was right after I followed him on Twitter.
Congratulations,
Cotton.
folks. I was told when I made my channel, I should make a channel Twitter that is separate from my own Twitter. And I said, no, fuck that. That is lame. And you know what? I still stand by that. That is lame.
Look, man,
You've been
And?
yeah, 4K,
And?
eh?
Twitter is very close to titter when you think about it.
You're right.
So was Twitch.
Anyway, I respect it, Alferia.
Was the tweet the other day? Femboys are basically the same thing as girls
No.
when you think something along
Females
those
and
I
lines.
spent
boys are the
30
same
seconds on that,
words
and
if
it's
you think
brilliant.
About it.
It's brilliant. I spent 30 seconds going, he's right. He's right. He's fucking
And I was mad about it too. Oh boy. All right. Solid.
Okay, so we've got one last topic we're going to cover. We're actually going to shelf the topic of revolving around Rosie because she's not actually able to make it. She sent me a message. She said she had an unexpected visitor show up.
Ooh.
So we're going to hit
Oh,
that next
me.
drama report episode. It was you visiting.
Yeah,
Rose.
I just
Okay.
teleported to bumfuck Ohio.
and I wish we had teleportation, or at least that thing where you can
I
say,
gave her the
computer,
pizza that you ordered.
yeah, just make food and it appears. That would be so good.
Okay, but real
Ugh.
talk though, if we were to have ordered a pizza, what kind of pizza would we have been ordering?
I'll go last.
Cheese pizza.
We said cheese, Alferia.
Just cheese.
Just cheese, no bread, no sauce, just cheese.
No, cheese pizza. Like extra cheese. I'm feeling a little spicy.
One of the places that I used to love going before I developed a gluten and a dairy allergy, because I'm that person, was a balsamic chicken Alfredo pizza, and it was delicious, and it's my favorite thing ever, and I can't have it anymore.
I'm so sorry. My favorite would be a thin crust, large 6 cheese Tuscan with Alfredo sauce. Not
Yo, that sounds delicious.
What? You want my sauce? What?
I said
Anyway,
Alfredo,
okay.
not Algeria.
Okay, everybody
All
in my
right.
server either calls me Algeria or Alfredo. There was no in between.
I like
Yeah,
Alfredo.
you're Algeria in this podcast.
Just to clarify, no one on this show will be enjoying Alferia sauce. End of story.
Oh God, go ahead and nix that pizza thing because now I've got to come up with
Yeah,
something new.
we're done with this strain of thought. We're done.
Anyways,
All right, last
pepperoni,
topic.
Anyway.
bitch.
No, I said anyways. You ruined it, Alferia. You ruined it. We're moving on to the last topic,
Damn it!
which is people leaving Twitter, or at least saying they're going to. Now,
Oh,
once every, we'll say 3 to 6 months, something happens. People don't like Elon Musk. People don't like the direction Twitter's going. They don't like what change in the terms of service just happened. And they get themselves in a tizzy. I feel like they also feed upon one another's energy. Somebody starts to complain and whine about how Twitter is awful. And then somebody else says, yeah, you know what? He's right. Twitter is awful. And then they take their
That was
ball.
a really good voice acting.
it
thing right
was. It
there.
made me think of a '50s cartoon. Yeah. Bother
Oh,
me,
yeah,
kid.
that's what I was going. That's what I was going for. That's
Oh,
what it feels
you
like they
nailed
do.
it,
And they all start talking to one another. They get each other all riled up. And then by the end of the day, all I see on Twitter are screenshots of people's Blue Sky accounts telling people, I'm just going to leave this here. You can follow me. I think I'm about done here. First of all, I want to go ahead and put this out there. Twitter is not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure.
If assholes
So
could fly, it would be.
That in and of itself is always what's funny to me. If I leave one day, I'm leaving. I'm just done. You're not going to know where I left to. I'm
If
out
you
of
ever
here.
leave Twitter, it would be a very prompt phone call to ask if you're okay.
So
That's love.
that is always funny to me that people feel like they have to announce it. It just goes with that whole like self-importance thing. I think it's really
Bingo.
funny. What's even funnier is the lack of understanding of network effects, because you can't make new social media happen. If you look at Threads, how all of a sudden Meta was, you know what, we have a great idea. Let's just go ahead and create a competitor to Twitter. And we have all these people that use Facebook. We have all these people that use Instagram. We're just going to inundate them with this new thing called Threads. We're going to try to get them all over there. And it's been out for over a year now. And you look at it, and the engagement is in the fucking toilet.
They picked
I
the
won't
perfect
be
name
surprised.
Hanging by
Maybe
a
that's
thread.
where I should move.
It's just hilarious to me because network effects are everything. They have to happen organically. Social media is an emergent phenomena. It's not something that you can synthetically cause to happen. And because of that fact,
look at Google
people-
Plus. That failed greatly.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And I remember the same thing happened like 10 years ago. People were like, we're leaving Facebook for good for Google Plus. And that lasted all of a year before it shut down. The moral of the story here is that if you're prepared to leave, that's fine, leave. But if you're going to leave, don't expect that you're going to be able to just build up something new where everybody's there, because the network effects, the idea is basically the reason a place becomes like a town square type place that everybody gathers and communicates is because everybody else is there. So if you try to go somewhere else where everybody isn't there, then you actually lose what made the other thing special in the first place. And I get that people don't like certain aspects of Twitter or Elon Musk. I'll leave that to the listener to decide for themselves, but it won't work is what I'm saying. Like it either has to be organic or it's not going to happen. There's a reason why we have WX Twitter and we don't have WX Tumblr or WX.
Could you imagine WX Tumblr, though?
Oh
minds.com.
my
Isn't that like
God.
a dating
my-
site?
Oh Jesus Christ! Don't
Oh,
even
Jesus
say.
Christ,
Don't
we don't
even.
have
That's
time
why
to
you
talk
don't
about
have one,
Tumblr.
because they don't date.
I am going to quote my person who has no idea who I am, but one of my favorite people on earth, and his name is Les Stroud. He is Survivor Man, and he has a podcast of his own where he talked about this for a half an hour. And he basically said that social media is a toxic cesspit unless you do it correctly. His favorite button on YouTube is the block button. And Facebook is like the backyard barbecue where you go and hang out with just your friends. Twitter is the town hall where you go and interact with everybody because you have no choice otherwise. And Instagram is just a photo album.
That's perfect. Yeah. And I hate the Facebook is like all the people of your past that you haven't talked to in 20 years that get mad when you don't reply 12 times to their, hey, how you been?
Okay, every once in a while I do put out a tweet, or not a tweet, a Facebook post on my personal, like, private Facebook, and I just announce, hey, graduate update, who's not dead yet from my high school. And every once in a while it's nice to see where everybody's at. It's nice to see that because I like to look at people's success stories. Now, it's especially hilarious when I find out who all went to prison, but
I'm right there with you. But I like Twitter because I like to go into a bar where they don't know my name and I can sit there quietly and have my drinks and just observe and not be, hey, man, how come you haven't been to church lately? How come you haven't been to the family gathering? Facebook is everybody fucking knows me and I don't want to be seen. That's why I'm not on it.
Okay, so this is where I come in.
Two thoughts real quick. Before Alferia, before you go, two thoughts. First of all, Kay, where you said the the toxic cesspool.
Same thing.
I will push back and say, yeah. Oh no, we're gonna have a lot of mad people now. You did it. You really did it this time, Shane.
the Texas cesspool. Yay.
You said that guy says Twitter, social media is like a toxic cesspool unless you do it correctly. I would push back and say it's a toxic cesspool if you're doing it correctly. That's one of the reasons as a chaotic neutral, there's nothing I love more than logging onto Twitter and seeing everybody losing their minds in a multitude of directions.
You're right. It gives me every picture of you ever seen, you look like there's chaos in your face and behind your eyes and in your mind and in your heart. I can see it.
I have chaos in my heart. Yes.
I talked to Gabe enough that I can definitely say he is just chaos.
And then
isn't he a great interviewer and interviewee?
I don't know. It's just a lot of fun being a chaotic good.
Okay, you gotta cut all this out. This is way too kind to me. This all needs to get cut out.
See, that's how you kill him. You kill him with kindness, literally.
Yeah, it's great.
No, I can confirm knives and guns also work as well.
How are you still here?
All right. Anyway, so Alferia.
I had something. No, I had one other thing I wanted to say. So that was your point. And then, God, Shane said something, but now I forgot. Thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate you being nice and making me forget what I was going to say. Go ahead, Alferia.
Skill issue.
So I don't think it's a bad idea to diversify your platform. But if you're going to leave Twitter, I'm sorry, but you're making a mistake because Twitter is the only place where 3-Year Letterman exists, and he is the second coming of Christ. Please follow 3-Year Letterman on Twitter for epic takes.
Wait, what?
Please follow 3-Year Letterman to letter and shit.
If I go and look this up and it turns out to be some anime account.
No, it is better than an anime account. It is a professional
That's a high
troll.
Praise coming from you. Okay.
One of his last tweets. Remember that last month of senior year of high school when you just stopped giving a fuck?
I love it.
That was the whole year, really. But yeah, go ahead.
My issue with Twitter right now is a multifold issue. First off, I don't really care that much for Elon Musk. He's your typical billionaire who has fuck you money. So there's that, and he can do whatever he wants with the platform. My biggest issue is going on to a different topic regarding AI and AI art specifically, in that as an artist, I can no longer post my art to my Twitter account because they're going to be training Grok or whatever it's called on my artwork, and I hate that, and I'm not going to get compensated for that. And it's just a lot of bots. I have to go through and delete all of the porn bots that work their way into my messages because I have a public profile.
Wait, how do you get porn bots in your messages?
He's scratching nose up in.
You. Woman.
That's love me.
Yeah, actually, no, it's actually true. It's because I'm a woman on the internet.
I was gonna say,
if I were to go on to my messages, I have what? Hi, you seem very friendly. Can we be friends? No, friends are for losers. Fuck
no, it's
you.
not 1934, bitch. Fuck off.
Help me. Please help me. My MetaMask wallet has been hacked.
I have beauties from your countries are at your door, and it's from that very clearly obvious bot
like
account.
Hot MILFs in your area.
Even the bots don't like me anymore.
Yeah, I just block and report them, but Legitimately, that's
Well,
my
maybe that
problem.
worked. Maybe I blocked enough of them where they're like, okay, fuck this guy, and they moved on.
So many blocked. Oh, and that brings up a whole other thing, okay? Speaking of being a woman on the internet, do you have any idea how dangerous it is to remove the block button? It's actually illegal in multiple countries to not have your social media have a block button that actually blocks accounts from viewing your profile. The amount of friends that I have online who are on Twitter who have their stalkers blocked and all of their accounts blocked because they were stalking and literally threatening to kill them at gunpoint is absurd. It's a huge safety problem.
Okay, one thing I want to say in response, not to the blocking thing, because I agree that's weird to not let the blocking feature still be there, but whatever. It's really funny to me when people talk about Elon Musk and claim that he's an idiot or that he's stupid. And this doesn't just go for Elon Musk. This goes for any person who has accomplished anything of great import in their life. You don't have to agree with them. You can even think that they're just dead wrong, their philosophy's off, that their politics are dog shit, and that's all fair game. But to me, it's almost like it's revealing the inverse of what you think it is. When you call somebody who's clearly highly accomplished and has spent thousands of hours mastering their craft and is clearly at least intelligent in some tangible way because you can see the results, the fruits of their labor, and you call them stupid, you on Twitter with 170 followers who works a 9 to 5 for somebody else's company, and you call them stupid, that to me is more like holding up a mirror and saying it to yourself as opposed to actually talking about the person. So anyways, that's the thing. That's one of the things that I always find so hilarious is disagree with the person and say you think the decision is awful, but like just like resort to ad hominem, like you probably don't win that battle.
So first off, you hired me. If you're hiring me after calling Elon Musk stupid.
Hey, look in the mirror, baby. That's all I'm saying.
Just saying.
Y'all know that meme where the dude's eating popcorn and like staring at this? That's me right now.
Yeah. To be clear, okay, I'm gonna better explain my thing, okay? When you are somebody like Elon Musk, and I will fully say that he is an incredibly intelligent person, like there's two different kinds of stupidity that I am referring to when I say somebody's stupid. There is you are actually unintelligent, in which case I will just not say that to your face. And then there is socially stupid, and Elon Musk is firmly on the cusp of socially stupid. He is so smart and has done so much and has quite literally billions of dollars of, to quote my dad, fuck you money. And he can do whatever he wants. I
love your dad.
Yeah, my dad's a great guy. Shout outs to dad. I don't know if you're actually hearing this, but good person. Anyway, when you have that kind of money, it creates a disconnect. And this is not just an Elon Musk thing. This is almost anybody who has that kind of money. But I think the only person that I can think of off the top of my head, and I've never met this person, that seems to still have a heart is Taylor Swift. But no, he's very intelligent. And I'm happy to give credit where credit's due. He's done a lot. But he's also socially so far away from everybody and firmly believes, in my opinion, in the way that he acts, that he is better than everybody, that it creates that's why people don't like him.
Can I interject real quick? And I am ashamed that I know this, but Taylor Swift is not in the same category. She's only worth 700 million. I'm sorry, I know this.
This is not true. Her net worth is over $1 billion now.
Are you kidding me?
I will make one small comment. I can confirm that he is socially stupid, as to quote a certain governor, Elon Musk does jump around like a dipshit.
So anyway, all of that to be said, I think that while he is an incredibly intelligent person, it seems to be a running theme with people who have high IQs in certain areas, whether it be emotional intelligence, actual intelligence, whatever it is, that you tend to compromise in other areas of being a person. And it seems like Elon Musk's compromise has been socially.
That's true. You don't have to be a billionaire. You can just be highly intelligent. I know a lot of really smart fucking people who are broke who are fucking socially fucked.
Yeah, and that's true. I know a lot of people who are incredibly intelligent and struggle socially or struggle emotionally because they're so smart that their brain doesn't understand emotions. There's
autism.
Like a psychopath.
Autism.
I love how we went neurodivergence, antisocial.
I like how Alferia turns into a broken record, just starts saying autism over and over again.
It's my superpower.
I was gonna say it's the autism.
No, I was gonna say it actually makes me think you're a Pokemon, and that's just what your name is.
Speaking from experience as an ADHD person, yeah, that is our Pokemon chant is autism or ADHD.
Autism. All right. On that note, I have to leave this recording studio in 5 minutes. Any final thoughts? I'm going to leave the floor open to all three of you.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome,
are-
Shane. You're welcome.
We are an Uncle Shane Stan podcast. Go listen to
What is-
his
what-
DCS
What does Stan mean?
fan.
Oh,
It came from the song Stand by Eminem from 20 years ago.
I have wondered what that meant all fucking afternoon since you put.
Yeah, so Stan was an obsessed fan with Eminem's
Okay.
character and that
Thank
song
you.
back in the day. And
I
so
apologize
nowadays,
for being slow.
Yep, when someone calls someone a Stan, they're basically making, it's like a lighthearted way of making fun of them, saying they're like an obsessed fan over something.
Cool. I'm the opposite of Elon Musk. I can deal with the masses. I can walk amongst the people, but I don't know shit about anything else. That's all.
We have established that you'd storm chased on dinosaurs, so
I was so good. I was dynastic.
By the way, Kay, I love Papa Elon. Daddy can do whatever he wants to Twitter, and I'm fine with it.
I can't. You know what? I'm gonna leave it with Alferia. Yes, I can
All right,
respectfully
folks.
disagree with him, but I'm not going to listen to a damn thing he says.
This has been a podcast, everyone. I'm not entirely sure if it was good or not, but it has in fact been a podcast. So I want to thank Shane, Kay, and Algeria all for hanging out with me here for an hour or so.
Algeria.
Good old
this
Algeria.
has been a podcast with your favorite continent, obviously. Thank you, Cass, for that one.
I mean,
hopefully we'll get
you
Cass
are-
back on one of these shows again in the future. All right, folks. Thank you again. And we will be back next month, hopefully, with another episode. Take care. Thanks for listening. If you're not already subscribed, hit that button right now and then make sure notifications are turned on so you never miss an episode again. There are lots of ways to show your support for Chaser Chat. You can pick up something from the merch store, leave a rating and a review on your favorite podcast app, leave a comment and a like on YouTube, or just share the link to this episode on your preferred social media platform. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode.